All right, so you're from Michigan, and as well as myself, and so I'm curious here. This young woman, Samantha Woll, 40 years old, murdered apparently in her house. She died in the Lafayette Park area of Detroit. My first, obviously, reaction was, well, looks like this could be related to all the violence in the world and, you know, the violence between Jews and Arabs and you know, Muslims and so forth. Of course, they came right out. You pointed this out during the break. It's just random violence. I'm sorry. It's an ongoing investigation. I don't think they can say it's random violence in 5 seconds any more than they can anything else. What are your thoughts on this?
I absolutely agree with you. With people that I've been talking to over the weekend, you know, I'm anticipating that there are going to be acts of violence committed against our Jewish neighbors over the coming weeks, the coming months. We've had all kinds of people that we have no idea who they are, but they're probably members of Hamas, Hezbollah, ISIS, Al Qaeda, come across the border over the last you know, two and a half years. They're here in this country. There's been a call for, you know, kind of a global jihad against again, our Jewish neighbors, and we see this brutal murder here in Michigan. And the instinctive reaction of media and maybe even some of our law enforcement officials is to say, oh, yeah, random act of violence, let's move on. It's kind of like, no, I'm sure, you know, let's go through and let's do a very, very close look at this and find out exactly what happened. It's the same type of thing that happened, you know, with the hospital bombing in Gaza. Oh, it's the Israeli Air Force dropped a bomb on it. And our media and our politicians in Washington, too many of them, jump all over this and start condemning the state.
Oh, they repeated it incessantly. They amplified it, Pete. They put it out there on the front page of the New York Times. Oh, it's all wrong. All wrong. And then you see the histrionic responses of people like Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib and all of this nonsense inside our own government. Then I see 100,000 people in the streets of London supporting Hamas. Is the UK lost, Pete?
If the UK is lost, then the United States is well on its way to the same thing. But, you know, the UK has had, you know, over the years has kind of led us in this. They've had the unrestricted flow of, you know, immigrants, some illegally, just flowing into the UK, close to having the same thing that we have, open borders, you know, not monitoring these folks at all, just letting them into the country. So these are frightening activities happening in the UK. You know, it's happening here as well. They're just not on the same scale yet.
It is happening. It is happening. And I want to get back to that and some things about what we're doing in the Middle East with China bringing in warships and so forth. But first, the problem in Washington is we're paralyzed because, you know, the Republicans are snake bitten. You know, Matt Gaetz forced the hand of Kevin McCarthy. He got forced out. It's been more than 2 weeks now. It's been several attempts to get a speaker in place. It's failed miserably. Jim Jordan took 3 shots at it. He got less votes the second and third time than he did the first time. Now there's a whole herd, a gaggle of people running for speaker. I've got, in fact, Jack Bergman from Michigan, who I know quite well, former U.S. Marine, is running. Byron Donald is running. Emmer, Hearn, Johnson, Moiser, Palmer, Scott, Sessions. I mean, the list is long. I do like Jack Bergman. I don't know if he has a shot at it at all. I like Byron Donalds. I don't know if he has a shot at it at all. I mean, what's happening? What are the people telling you, Pete?
Well, I mean, it's a free for all. All right, the people that I talk to who are part of this. Okay, who are the ones that are casting the votes? They have no idea how this is all going to end. They don't know if they're going to have a speaker, you know, by Wednesday of this week. They're going to meet tonight. They'll have a debate or a conference tonight. They'll vote tomorrow morning. But again, will that person just win the conference but not win the House, not get 217 votes? Steve, it's embarrassing. It really is embarrassing. They, today marks 3 weeks that Kevin McCarthy has been out. Republicans were given the opportunity to govern, and they just pissed away 3 weeks of doing absolutely nothing other than trying to work out their own leadership crisis. They need to be governing. They need to be holding Biden accountable for Ukraine, for the Middle East, for his potential illegal activities, for the border, for the spending, and all of these types of things. And what are they doing?
100%.
They're arguing about who should be our leader, and then they vote on Monday and Tuesday, and then say, "Oh, we are so tired. We worked so hard. This is so tough. We got to let cooler heads prevail. We're going to go home for 3-4 days so that our members can get prepared for the next week." It's like, no, American people are suffering. They're suffering under inflation. Get your act together and get to work. I love the guy that came out and said, the American people, we're the only ones that can lead. The White House is dysfunctional. The Democrats and the Senate they can't lead. So we in the House need to lead. And it's kind of like, yeah, that would be nice.
Leading where? Right.